Right. Well, we are live on Facebook, you guys. KHOP88 is live and on the air. Marnie, as always, great to see you. You're still in your house in Northern California, but now you have an exit date.
Yes, June 13th.
Great.
We're going north.
Love it. So joining us today, three of my Gatewood classmates. Psyched about that. Bonnie Blader, and all living in the western suburbs of Minneapolis. Yes. Bonnie Blader, Cheri Crawford, Jennifer Gauger. Great to see you guys. Thanks for joining us.
You should note that Bonnie could not figure out how to change her name.
Yeah.
That's the story she's telling us. She's not operating under an alias, at least, as we know. So we sort of went through this a little bit before the show that like none of you remember anything, but certainly you must remember
this
Gatewood,
be a great
right?
Show.
What a great time we all had at Gatewood.
Oh yes, love you.
Okay, I'm gonna get specific about it. I've never been to Gatewood. What's so great about Gatewood? Was there a great thing about it?
Well, they had the pods.
I was just gonna say pods. We got to walk to, well, Jason and I walked to school. They had a huge sledding hill in the back. They had an ice rink with a warming house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was
fast. Bonnie, explain to the people what a pod is.
Well, so I think it was like, wasn't it like third, fourth, and fifth? There were three.
I was going to say older, but
maybe it was fourth, fifth, and sixth grades.
Maybe.
And pod. And it was one big open room that was partitioned with coat closets, and the 4 teachers were in there, or 3, depending on what grade you're in. And you just all learn in the pod, and then if you had to go to science class, you'd just go to the other side of the room.
And then they could reconfigure the room. Sometimes they would push everything aside if we were all going to be together. And I remember making marionettes. Do you remember making those?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And having to do a play with them or something.
Yeah. My favorite memory of the pods is when Stephanie Brown fell into one of the coat closets and tipped it over. She was stuck in the coats and
nothing could happen without everybody knowing about it, right?
Yeah.
If there was any sort of uproar, everybody could see.
I hope she's watching.
I don't remember it being like a disturbance when you would be, I don't remember that being that way. But I mean, I remember the pods, but I don't remember being distracted by the other classes. So,
well, it was a huge space.
Yeah.
So we were very separate.
Yeah.
At least it's probably not that big, but it, you know, when you're 12, it feels big.
Yeah.
I remember having a thing now that you mentioned it with Dave Green. I think we were in 6th grade where we were going to like give from kitty corner in the pod, like he was in one room, I was in another. We were going to give each other like a give me 5 at like one time. So it was like at 11:30, turn around and we're going to do that. And it took us like 2 weeks to get it together, like 2 weeks to.
So now memories are coming back because Mr. Fugelston, who I had Mr. Kafka. See, all of a sudden things come rushing back.
I could not tell you who I had.
Couldn't he get really angry?
Yes.
And I think that was a big thing. Like all the classes would know. It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's in trouble.
He was a big personality.
Yeah.
And so, there would be anger, but there would also be a lot of laughing too. And everybody would turn around like, what's going on over there? It seems totally like if you've had 12-year-olds, you're like, how could you possibly have this distracting environment? Like,
right.
Those kids are distracted by everything. But we made it through, right? It was good.
Somehow we made it through.
Yeah.
And so were you 3 friends at Gatewood, or like tell what are you?
We were. In fact, I was just before we started, I was going to see if I could find any pictures of like birthday parties, or I know I've got pictures, Jenny, of you in some singing choral
Oh, I was
group.
Minnetonka Children's Choir or something.
Yeah, and I don't know why that, I guess because I have a picture of it, but I have a picture of you along the side of the building, and they're maybe Bonnie's, and I don't know, but
Funny.
I have it somewhere.
I remember going to Cheri's house and always she had a dog named, when we were in high school, and she had a dog named Jenny.
Jenny.
Jenny. No. Like, oh. That's what I remember.
Were you guys in any like youth organizations? Did you do gymnastics or play softball or Girl Scouts or anything like that?
God. I think I dabbled in everything at least once.
Yeah.
Literally. I was in band. I was in orchestra. I started out playing the cello, and you know, because we walked to school, I had to walk home with that cello. And
Yeah.
it was so big. I was holding it in front of me, walking, and I ran into a mailbox. So then I downscaled the next year to a violin. And then I downscaled the next year to a flute.
Yes. Logical. Even.
Yeah, that's great.
That's what you do when you walk to school.
Yeah. Bonnie, were you in bands too?
You know, I tried the clarinet in like 4th grade, and that
I
didn't go
remember that.
well. I took piano lessons, and then my piano teacher moved away. So my mom never got me into piano lessons again. And that was about my music career.
Yeah. Jenny, you were in band, right?
Yeah.
I was.
What did you, I forget, what did you play? What instrument?
I played percussion.
Oh, drums.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
I was thinking you were clarinet too, but of course, duh, with your dad.
No, my dad is a professional drummer and then started his own company, but he at one point looked at me and said, if you don't pick an instrument, I'll pick one for you. And guess what? he's a drummer. So that's what I did. And I think I stopped when we got to high school. I played through junior high and stopped when we got to high school because I feel like, and I'm sure someone's going to tell me I'm wrong on this, but if you were in band in high school, you were also in the marching band. And I'm like, probably. I refuse to put I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go marching on the field with a big drum.
Yeah. I bet that's right, because even now it's kind of a coveted thing, at least where our kids both went to Orono High School, and they required some sort of musical background for you to even start playing drums. You had to have piano or something. Piano. Yeah.
You have to know how to read music, because I think kids want to just start playing drums because they think it's easy or easier. So
or fun, or
right.
Well, you brought up, Cheri, a topic that Karen Koski is nudging us about, which is, would you please tell us about your families?
Oh.
So you want to start, Cheri, like children, pets?
Sure, yeah. Well, so right out of high school, I ended up at University of Minnesota Duluth, and Bonnie was there.
Yeah.
I actually had applied to St. Olaf and was waitlisted, and then I just couldn't wait any longer. It was like July, and I still hadn't heard from them. So kind of in the 11th hour, I just went up to Duluth. I knew Bonnie was going there, and I that's about all I remember of that decision. It's just like, I gotta get out of here. And so there I met my husband, Pete. And so now we live out in Minnetrista. We have a daughter who's a senior at Kansas State University in Manhattan, Kansas, and a son who's a freshman at Springfield College in Springfield, Massachusetts. So we're empty nesters.
Yeah.
For the first time.
How do you like that? I know I
Well, it's been fun. I mean, it's been obviously a super interesting year, right? I feel like they still were home more than they've been away with COVID. So, it's like, it just seemed like just as we were kind of getting used to it, the kids were home, and then they were home for 2 months. And then it's like, what is this? So yeah, it's been good. kind of getting to know each other once again. My husband and I.
That's a good way to look at it.
We still like each other. So that's good. For the most
Bonnie,
part.
what about you?
Let's see, I have 3 kids. I have a daughter who's gonna be 23, and then 2 boys, Joe and Ross, and Joe's 20, and he is in real estate. So he went out of high school, didn't want to go to college, and wanted to do the real estate thing, which he's doing well, but it's a shortage of houses. So, you know,
Yeah.
if you have a budget, it's hard to find a house. And then my youngest son is a senior in high school, and he's a lacrosse player, and he's gonna go to Pueblo and play lacrosse, Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be
That's
fun.
incredible.
Excited.
What, is there a school in Pueblo where he's going? What's the?
Yeah, it's Colorado State University, Pueblo.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, and Pueblo itself isn't the best town, but it's going to be a good school. It's smaller, and he's excited to play lacrosse. So, and he's a defender, so he likes to hit people. It's pretty
Yeah,
violent.
that's a violent sport.
It's very violent.
It's super physical.
How do you feel about that, Mom? Or is that okay? Is that you fine with it?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, he just does it on the field, and he doesn't take it out on his brothers and sisters. That's all good. And they are all home. My husband is kind of bummed because we're supposed to be empty nesters, but COVID. Paige graduated from college at Iowa State, and then she moved home, got a job, and she's been living home, and Joe never left, and Ross is leaving though. In the fall.
That's
And then we
great.
have 2 dogs that are Rottweilers, Hank and Phoebe, and that's about it.
Oh, we have
Jen?
a dog too. I forgot to mention.
Jen,
Yeah.
you're up.
I have 3 kids. My oldest is about to be 25. 2 boys and a girl. So my oldest are boys and my youngest is a girl. So Jackson is my oldest. He went to UMD and graduated a couple of years ago now, and is gainfully employed in Minneapolis at a digital marketing agency, doing well, living with his girlfriend and a puppy who's on like 9 months old. But anyway, and my son Sam will graduate from UW Lacrosse in May, and he plays tennis for UW Lacrosse, loves that. And then trying to figure out where he's going to be, what he's going to do. And my daughter's a junior at Hopkins High School. So all my kids both my boys went to West Junior High. My boys graduated from Hopkins High School, and my daughter will too. So my daughter went to North because she went to a Spanish immersion charter school. So that was the outlet for her the Spanish immersion program was at North, not at West. So
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
So we hear a lot about younger kids, and how the pandemic is affecting them. And, there's been a ton of people on who are now like school principal, guidance counselor, and science teacher in their house. You guys all have older kids, but certainly at this point, you must be drawing some conclusions about how the pandemic is treating them. Do you have any thoughts about that? Or what's your role as a parent when your older kids come back to live with you?
Well, it's been super tough, of course, for them having, our son who graduated high school last year in the midst of it, amongst, obviously so many other kids across the country and world. But so that was super tough. He's a gymnast, a competitive gymnast. So he was trying to navigate getting on a collegiate team, and their season was cut short, and there was no nationals to be even looked at, and with men's gymnastics, they often will wait to recruit even until the spring of the senior year. It's just a really late developing sport. So anyway, he was fortunate to get on a team out east, but he was really hoping to get on either the Gophers or even Ohio State. And I look back like, thank goodness he didn't make the team at the U because they cut their program this year.
Oh, that's right.
That was
Yeah.
all kind of, they dubbed it Title IX, but it was started with COVID and losing the football season and funding and what have you. So anyway, that's another story, but
Yeah.
yeah, so it's been really tough. He fortunately did get a season this year. They started late. He's had limited practices, and so he's had all kinds of challenges with just being a student athlete and getting time in the gym and competing with kids across the country that their states may be more open, so their gyms are open and they're getting
Sure.
more practice training time. And then our daughter's, I think she's just over it. She's a senior and it's just like, I have a few more weeks and I'll be home, and I don't know what she's going to do when she gets here, but
But she's coming
yeah,
back.
it's tough. It's been tough for everybody, right? But
Yeah.
I guess it's all they know, and so it is what it is.
Bonnie,
Right.
can you get your kids to like chip in on cooking dinner and stuff like that? Or is it more collaborative now that they're grown-ups, or do you still have to crack the whip?
Oh, no, still have to crack the whip. Yeah. Actually, Rob's upstairs making dinner now and they're all watching him. Not helping. Yeah, and we've all, pretty much everyone in our house have been essential workers through this whole thing. So we've been coming and going. It's just my daughter that's been home working from home. And so no, they really aren't doing anything. They just, it's like a hotel. Eat, sleep, and come and go when you want. And hopefully somebody will pick up after you.
Yikes.
What
I
are
have-
your,
so-
what are your observations, Jen?
I was going to say the one thing that I am very glad for is that my kids aren't really little, aren't young, because
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how, I've got a lot of coworkers. I'm sure there's just a lot of people out there, and I've been I got sent home. I still am home, and we're not planning to go back to the office. I work literally 5 minutes away in Minnetonka, and my husband usually he's worked from home for a long time. So his office is here, and we all invaded last month because my oldest hadn't quite moved out yet. And then my one son came home from college because he said it was super depressing. He's just like, there's nobody here.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
Nothing going on. He's like, this is just sad. And so it was, and then they all left again. So it's just been, so I was laughing with my husband tonight, and it's just like, 4:00, we just meet in the kitchen for happy hour. Grab a drink and then say, all right, I'll meet you back here at 5.
Yeah. See you later.
And my daughter, her thing is just, it's like, oh, it's just the 3 of us. That's the thing with because it's hard when you're the last one sitting here, and I'm like, I'm sorry, dear. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Being dad.
Yeah, the best parts about being the youngest are that your parents don't really care what you do anymore, but like those opportunities are all lost now.
You can't go anywhere even if you wanted to.
Right. Nothing to sneak out for. Can't. That's too bad. Is there stuff like prom? Is that happening? What's the story on that?
For Hopkins, they're doing a just seniors only.
Okay.
And I think it's out, I think it might be at the high school or something like that. Yeah.
I feel like I heard of, now my kids are graduated, but I think I heard Orono maybe is doing their prom outside.
That's
would
what
be-
I'm trying to wonder.
I think that's interesting, but
Yeah, well, Coney is doing one. It's just seniors, but there's no dance. So I'm like, well, what are you
so
gonna
what
do?
is it? Get dressed
you're
up and
Get dressed up, yeah.
What do you do?
Go to the Medina ballroom and stand around and look at each other, I guess.
and stay 6
Yeah.
feet apart.
Yeah. No touching, no.
It's like so much of it though is the ceremony, right? The taking the photos and the get in the car and everything like that. You know?
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, the kids end up, they just go out, get dressed up and go out to eat, and they barely even go to the dance anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's true. You got to at least stop by, but then, yeah. Hey, you know what? Maybe we should be thankful for some of these.
right.
I just realized that.
Excellent, excellent point. Well, that's interesting. We haven't had too many people with older kids on who have moved back home anyway that we've talked about. So that's a totally different aspect of this. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we always talk about on the show is whether you guys have picked up any hobbies over the pandemic. And I don't know, maybe you guys are way too busy for that, but is anybody doing anything that they picked anything up in the last 12 months that they weren't doing before? Or what are you guys doing to stay busy?
I
Well-
have one thing, but go ahead, Bon.
Oh, no. Well, I, like I said, I've been working through all of it 40 hours a week. So really nothing's changed.
Your life hasn't changed.
No. So
And
it's
are
all
you working at Costco? That's one of the questions from Chris Camp.
Yep, I work at Costco in Eden Prairie in the pharmacy.
Okay.
So, yeah, I even had, when this all started, they gave us a piece of paper to keep in our glove box if we got pulled over by the cops for being out, that we could say we're an essential worker. And they had to go to and from work.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you couldn't be driving out.
Well, at the lockdown, they were saying, you know, you really aren't supposed to be out driving or even past, like, I think it was 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Jeez.
So if you're driving home,
That's
they
nuts.
sign letter to give the police, but that
Your
never happened.
permission slip.
Yeah,
Are you giving people a vaccine at this point, Bonnie?
we just started 2 weeks
Okay.
ago.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did?
Yeah, they just started. It's online only. You have to go to Costco.com and sign up on there.
Sure.
We had the Johnson & Johnson. Now we're doing the Pfizer this week.
Are
So-
you giving people shots though yourself?
No,
Okay.
no, the pharmacist is doing it. So,
Okay.
but yeah, you know, this week they started and we're doing 60 shots a day right now with the Pfizer. So
Yeah.
last week was 20 shots a day. So
Okay.
Good to
Cheri,
know.
what were you going to say? What's your hobby?
Well, so I learned how to play cribbage finally. And my
There you
husband
go.
is super excited because it's one of those things that his family always plays when we get together for the holidays and whatnot. So I have learned probably a dozen times how to play it, but it does not stick with me if I just try and play the one time a year. There are a lot of layers to that game. So finally, the other thing we did is we went ice fishing for the first time.
Oh,
And so then we played cribbage in the ice fish house.
That's
So
the
my
ticket.
husband's so happy. He's got someone to play with now.
I am
It
with you
requires
on
a
that,
lot of
'cause
thinking.
my dad and my brother-in-law play cribbage, and I'm the guy too who has to learn every year when we get
Yeah,
together.
I mean,
and play.
I have a newfound appreciation for it. It is a really fun game. There are a lot of layers to it, and it's requires a lot of thinking, which sometimes I just don't care to do when I'm playing a game. But
I think that's great though that you went ice fishing, because I feel like everybody who grew up in Minnesota needs to have some of these experiences, you know.
I
And
had
ice
never
fishing is one of
been.
them.
I had never been. You know, my parents are born and raised Californians, and I was born out there, and so I didn't grow. Even though I primarily grew up here, I didn't grow up with that Minnesota whatever.
Yeah.
All of the activities and outdoor things that most people do.
Well, and
Okay,
people
I-
ask you like, what's ice fishing? Like you just drill a hole in the lake and sit there and watch it, and it's like, no, you play cribbage. Like you,
You drink and you play games.
yeah, you drink beer and watch the
I
game.
do have a follow-up question about cribbage and ice fishing. Do you wear like fingerless gloves? Like your hands get cold?
Well, so we were in a fish house, so it was toasty warm.
Okay.
We even had a toilet. And
Whoa.
and honestly, Marty, you're not fishing. The lines are attached to the side of the fish house on spools, and they
Okay.
have bells, so it rings if you catch something. It jingles, And then you run over, oh, pull up the line, snag the fish. So you're not hovering over a hole with holding a fishing pole. I suppose you could do it that way, but
Is
that's
this
not what we did.
is this ice house is this your husband's ice house, or do you
It's
guys?
not. A friend
Okay.
of ours has one on Lake Minnetonka, and then we and another couple rented. This is crazy that we did this, but we rented one of those. It wasn't an ice castle, but it was similar out on Mille Lacs
Oh yeah.
back in February. And so we had to drive literally 5 miles to get out to the fish house on ice. 5 miles on Lake Mille Lacs. And then we stayed 2 nights. It might have been one night too many.
I love it. People have no, I mean, Marnie, look at Marnie grew up in Minnesota. She has no concept of this.
I didn't really either. I didn't.
No, my people did not do that.
My
went to the
people did not
deli.
either.
Anyhow. Okay, well, that's very fascinating. How about you, Jen? Do you have any pandemic activities you want to share?
I so wish I did.
There's still time.
Come up with something.
I think
You've
the
been
best,
working?
I think the, oh yeah, I mean, I've been super busy with my work has been busy, but that's the only thing I can say. My husband and I have gotten into, I haven't been a big TV series watcher of all the new Netflix and, that kind of thing. I feel like my husband and my boys got into that, and it would be like, no, they were into Breaking Bad, and I'm like, I don't know, that's not for me. And
It's a commitment.
we got into, I watched Game of Thrones. I think it was last winter. And like, we should have waited for if we had known a pandemic was coming, I would have waited to watch that. But we got into and I was hooked on Succession,
Yeah.
and watched all of Ozark, and holy cow.
Yeah, we watched that one too.
I was so bummed out when they were over. That's about the best I can do.
Is there something you want to do?
Yes, actually, that was enjoyable. The only thing that I really wanted to do is get back into reading. And I have not. That was kind of like my New Year's resolution. And I thought I have no excuse not to do that. And I have yet to do that.
Well, I'm going to give my pitch, which I do on some shows, which is audiobooks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Audiobooks are really cool.
Yeah.
You should check out like the here in California. I don't even have to go to the library. You just like download the
Download 'em.
app,
Yeah.
and if there's an audiobook there that you don't like,
Yeah.
just return it and get a new one.
Yeah. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I use Audible quite a bit. Pre-pandemic, I had a book club in the neighborhood, and it just kind of fizzled after COVID. And so I had subscribed to Audible as part of that, because just as backup, because sometimes I didn't have time to read the book, so I would listen. Well, so I never cut the subscription. So all of a sudden I had like 12
Oh yeah.
books. So I finally I downloaded like however many books, cut off the subscription. And so now I've just been like, when I go walking or whatever, I listen to them. It's great.
Yes.
I highly recommend them.
Yeah, I did the same with that Audible thing. I kept paying for it and thinking, like,
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
keeping
why am
up.
I doing this? Yeah.
But now it's all cooking time, and especially like doing the dishes time. That's prime audiobook podcast stuff.
I have not thought to listen during those tasks.
Oh yeah.
Mine is like if I'm in the car or walking the dog, then I listen.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good tip.
Well, I listen when I get too tired. Like I'm too tired. My eyes hurt from staring at a computer screen all day.
Yeah.
I just close my eyes and listen, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, because I usually always fall asleep reading.
I
Yep.
know.
I guess
That's my thing. I can get through like 2 pages and I'm out.
Yeah, and you can set the audiobooks, Jen, so like you can say like, you know, turn off in 20 minutes, and so you don't really lose your place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
When you fall asleep listening to the
Right.
When I
audio
fall
book.
asleep listening, that's gonna
of
happen.
course.
Yeah, that's
Totally.
great. Well,
We have
the
a lot
other,
of people. Oh, I
you
wanted
go
to
ahead.
see who's here to say hi.
Yeah.
Facebook now, it kind of cuts off my ability to see all the comments. So forgive me, audience, if I don't read your name. David Schmidt was here and said hello. Troy Finn says ice fishing is a lot different in a house.
I'm sure it is.
Pam Kropp Anderson is here. She writes, I didn't think anyone actually fished Lake Minnetonka. I
They
see
do.
there. Doug Robertson was here. I'm not going to be able to see all of them, but I have a mysterious comment from Chris Camp. Rattle reel.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what I was talking about. The spool that is attached to the wall of the fish house and just drops into the lake, your ice fishing hole, and then it jingles if you have a fish on it. So what you call it? A rattle roll?
Rattle reel, yeah.
Rattle
Rattles,
reel.
and then you can reel it in.
I don't know the lingo.
Right. Well, you just give it a couple years, Cheri. You'll be right there.
Right.
I'm seeing your own cribbage tournament. In the
Right.
The great outdoors. Cribbage tournament.
Well, the Star Tribune, I think it was last winter, maybe 2 winters ago, did this great long series about those Mille Lacs like villages out on the
Yes.
lake. Because
It's
people spend
crazy.
all winter out there, and then
Oh
they
my
like
gosh.
gather in one for Friday night dinner, and then they go to the other for Saturday. And these people have
Yeah.
been doing it for decades, and yeah,
And
it's
they
pretty-
pave these roads that just go on and on and on. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, we drove 5 miles to get out to our.
That's
fish house.
crazy.
That's scary.
It
It
was
is a little
scary.
scary.
It was
Yeah.
super scary because I'm not used to being on the ice to begin with, and then be driving your car.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking, well, the roads are plowed, so some big truck was out here
Yeah.
plowing, so it must be safe.
Yeah.
Well, and you stay out there, don't you, the whole time?
You what?
Aren't you staying in the fish house the whole time too? It's like
Yeah,
your
we
whole-
slept 2 nights, and that was plenty.
I love it. Well, so we talked about how good our memory is, but one of the things we always talk about is whether there are any teachers, and this can go beyond just Hopkins High School back to Gatewood or West or whatever. Any teachers that stuck with you or that you think about or that had a particular impact on you that you can remember?
Gosh.
Jump right in. Bonnie?
Get us out.
Do you have one? Well, I have one, and it would be Senora Meyer. And I
Yeah.
think I really think mostly because I would have had her all of the years of high school because I took Spanish all through. And so you really develop a relationship with, I did with her. And I seem to recall she had a not very good reputation when I was first entering into the Spanish program. But I think I just realized that maybe she was kind of hardball that first year and then warmed up and, really got to know the kids that wanted to stick with it. But she was pretty remarkable when I think back. We went to her house even. I don't know were you in Spanish, Jenny?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Senora Meyer. Yeah. But I don't
Did you go to
remember
her house? She had and we ate all Spanish food and
You must have been a much better Spanish student.
I think that's true.
I don't know. Maybe we went in small group. I feel like the whole class went. I don't know if that's possible.
Well,
It would have been a lot of kids.
It could be my memory.
And
Or-
she lived I want to say way down 169, across the river south. I don't know.
Funny.
So that would be the one for me, I think. Yeah.
You still speak Spanish, Cheri? Can you?
No,
Yeah.
but it is kind of interesting because my son took it, and it's amazing how it is kind of in there somewhere, and the words just come out.
Yep.
And
I find like if I go on vacation in Mexico for a week, the last day I'm like,
kind of, yeah. I mean, I can I do try and speak Spanish when we go to Mexico.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of fun, and then I don't understand what they're saying, but I just somehow I get along.
Cool.
So yeah.
Bonnie, Jen, who's got one?
I might have one. I was thinking of, I actually might have one from West Junior High, because I watched you ask this question and I was like, I really want to think about this. Does anybody remember Mrs. Moland?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She kept her classroom freezing cold.
She was very, I don't know, there was something about her. I really liked her. Although, you know what, it might have been, I feel like, and I don't know if I had her 2 different times.
I think I did.
Maybe 7th grade and 9th grade or something like that. But I swear it was in 7th grade, and I wasn't doing well in math. And my mom wrote her a note and thought that I should go to summer school for math. And
That's rough. Yeah.
And she wrote a note back and she said, this isn't lack of effort, or she's not paying attention. I'm like, oh great, well what does that mean? I'm like, she just doesn't get it.
She just doesn't get that.
The amount of summer school is going to help her.
I totally remember her. She used to keep her classroom like 50 degrees, and she would talk about it. She's like, that's how I prefer it. So just
she was very particular, and just I liked her. I just stands out in my head. And I do remember, which when we were in kindergarten, it was Mrs. Anderson, but Mrs. Knickerbocker.
Oh, Knickerbocker, yeah.
And she works over at Tonkadale Nursery. And I saw her I think she might be a seasonal worker there every now and then. And I don't know if it's been recently, but within the last 2 years, I swear I saw her and I was like, okay, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I know you're Mrs. Knickerbocker. And
I wonder if I would recognize, I mean, I know, I remember her, but I feel like I wouldn't recognize her.
She lives in my parents' neighborhood.
She does?
Yeah, she just lives up the road from my parents.
Okay.
My mom gives me updates on all these teachers from Gatewood because she worked there for so many years, and they still like get together for coffee and stuff, and she'll give me the rundown, and I'm like, I don't great,
okay.
like
well,
but yeah, they all still get together.
Did your mom work in the library?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
my mom was taught at she taught at Meadowbrook. She was the challenge coordinator at Meadowbrook.
No.
When I was, I'm trying to think. I think it might have been when we were in high school. So she has a book club with all these, I think her book club spans 15 years. It's all Hopkins teachers. And I think there might be 1 or 2 that are still teachers, but otherwise they're all retired. And then I think she also gets together with all the challenge teachers throughout the district as well. But just kind of, in fact, she was supposed to substitute teach for when we were in 6th grade at Gatewood. She was supposed to substitute teach for Mr. Wager. I remember that.
Is that right?
He came in my room
Mr. Wager.
I will totally remember it. She goes, Jenny, I just got a call to substitute teach for Mr. Wager. Would that be okay? I said, no.
No,
absolutely not. Because we were in the pods.
Yeah.
You guys, I would have heard my mom.
It's a weird experience having your mom at school. And we've talked about this with Julie Hepner, because her mom was at school every day pretty much.
Sure.
What did her mom do?
She was a sub, but she was like permanent Gatewood sub, and like we had her all the time.
I do kind of remember that.
And she would just call you out. Rough. Julie Hefner's mom's famous line was, "I know your mother," and you're like, oh, yeah.
She was not lying.
No.
Okay.
Bonnie, do you have a teacher in mind?
Well, I do. I can't remember his name though. That's kind of
Okay.
sad. But you and the law teacher in high school, I can't think of what his name is.
Oh,
His
But
name
he-
just came up and somebody's going to say
yeah,
it on
someone's gonna
Facebook.
say it,
So,
I bet.
Yeah.
yeah.
But he was fun and engaging, and I don't know, it was just fun listening. We had to do like a trial, I think, in the class too, and
Oh.
I
I
remember.
don't
But
think I took that. I
yeah,
don't think.
Oh,
we-
like a mock trial in school?
yeah, the mock trial in school. And
Well, we do have a comment confirmation from Chad Alt that he also went to Senora Meyer's house.
Oh, there you
There
go.
you go.
Who else was there?
Happened.
I don't think it was just
Because
the
I
two
was
of us.
there, then I'm in big trouble.
You were, I bet you were there.
Okay, well, my last question, I've been hearing, well, we're talking about lack of memories. And one of the topics that we've not no one has real information about is the great tennis ball play.
Oh,
Mm.
Do any of the three of you have information about who started it? Or anything about it?
you're asking the wrong
No
person.
but that wasn't when we were seniors,
I
right?
know. When was it?
Was
Like,
sophomores?
We think sophomores are, yeah, like everyone's got a different year. It wasn't senior
Yeah.
year for sure.
It wasn't senior year.
I should ask my brother because he was 2 years older.
Oh
It was
yeah.
That's right.
probably his class.
That's right.
My hypothesis is it was related to tennis players because they had the balls.
Right.
I know. I mean, how do you get all those tennis balls in?
Well, I'm sure it was well planned out. Like they probably
Everybody brought some.
all get like 6 sleeves of tennis balls or whatever they come in, and bring them to
Is it
school.
in the yearbook pictures or must be?
There's no photo of the fight. There's photos of the sit-in
Sit-in.
protest after the fight. That
Yeah.
the fight came, and then they called off winter games, and then we protested the calling.
Oh, yeah.
I remember, who was it? I watched, I think it might have been Wally and Drew.
Mhm.
Wally who said, I remember actually going to class when there was that sit-in.
Yeah.
And nobody was in the class because I
I
was
think I did too.
gonna get a skip slip. And I was like,
Right.
showed up and there was nobody there. And I'm like, well, all right, sweet. I guess I
I guess
Seems
I'll
about
leave.
right. I
I
love
don't
it.
even remember what I did. I probably went to class too.
I just, again, though, like the thing, like I think the thing that differentiates our generation, right, is that we're still young enough to like, you know, we pretty much caught on with the internet fine. Like we didn't have problems adapting to it like our parents or baby boomers did, but we still are old enough to remember, like, they managed to organize this stuff in high school without any, like, no cell phones, no, you know, word of
Right.
mouth.
Yeah.
Like after fifth hour, we're all chucking tennis balls at each other. Like
Right.
somehow that happened.
And I think somebody, oh, go ahead, Marty.
No.
No, I was gonna say, somebody brought up the big kid, little kid thing. And nowadays,
Oh,
can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Can you
Yeah.
even imagine?
no.
I
Yeah,
had,
all the stuff they make you do.
when I was a sophomore, my big brother because at the end of the week, I think they were supposed to take you out. I sat in my driveway with a paper bag over my head and some dude was gonna come pick me up. And I was like, and my parents are okay with it?
Yeah, right.
They actually
Kids.
come pick me up. And
Yeah,
I-
because you don't know who they are until the end.
And I ended up knowing, it ended up being someone that lived not far away from us. So a part of me thought, did my parents actually know? Because I don't think they would have allowed that, but I just, and the things that we were put through and we put other kids through, it's just crazy.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
reminds me, Marnie, being on dance team, we were
Yeah.
kidnapped in the middle of the night,
Yes.
right?
Oh, there
You
was
remember
hazing
that?
on Dance Line?
Huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if it was hazing, but kind of. I mean,
I think the hazing was you had to get in and then it was
Was just-
so bad.
yeah. Yeah, it was just kind of the ritual once. I don't know, is that how, that's not how we found out we made it though.
I don't recall. I have no
But like,
memory.
how did you know that you were that people were coming to your house to take you out at night, or did they just show up, ring the doorbell, and you had to
Maybe.
leave?
I don't know.
Okay.
I must
I
have
wonder
notified.
if they
don't know.
coordinated with our parents or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
I do remember that this was maybe just related, but like guys who played football got their houses TP'd on
Yes,
homecoming
but
by
the
like,
dance line team would teach.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like
And Pa, yeah, I'm sure you did
we would
too.
do, yep. Before big games or something like that.
Yeah.
but again, you had to leave home late at night on a
In
school
the middle of the
night.
night.
And where are you going? Well, we're gonna throw toilet paper in football players' yards.
Okay, I have one memory to share from Heather Thorson.
Yeah, here we go. She always
That's
comes
a
up with the
wrap.
good memories.
Yes, no toilet throwing in this comment. Heather writes, hi, love these girls. Hi, Jen Cougar. Her dad and Jen are so cool. Jen and her dad brought me to a Bruce Springsteen concert born in the USA, and we sat in the drum seat after the concert, and we met Clarence Clemens backstage. Love you all.
Okay,
Is this
that
true?
is cool.
Yeah. Bonnie, I think, went with me on some of those.
Yeah, we went to John
John
Cougar.
Cougar Mellencamp.
Oh
Whoa.
yeah.
So
my
your dad, because of his drum scene, had hookups with all this?
Yeah, so my dad invented a product for drums. It's a very long story, but he invented a pretty revolutionary product for drums, a suspension system for drums that a lot of professional drummers use. And so bands would come into town and he'd be like, well, so-and-so, I remember thinking, I'm like, who's Bruce Springsteen? I don't know who that is.
We'll go.
I feel like that, and Heather will have to remind me, but I feel like that was the concert where he was bringing, wasn't it the girl from
That's right.
Friends?
Courtney Cox.
Right.
Oh.
They made that video at the Met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would often get, tickets, and they had a section where anybody that was a guest of the band members usually sat. I think we sat next to Clarence Clemens' wife. But we went backstage. I don't remember that we ever saw Bruce Springsteen. Sometimes we would see them. Bonnie and I had had kind of a fun experience backstage at John Cougar Mellencamp, because my dad knew that drummer very well. And my dad stopped going to him because he's like, I can't take it anymore. He's like, I meet him before, I meet him after. But at Bonnie, I think he went
backstage.
fair enough. And he actually took us out of the room where it's like all the radio station winners, and he brought us into the dressing room.
Yeah.
Was back there, and he's like, do you guys want a beer? And I looked at him and I'm like, well, if you don't tell my dad.
That's fantastic.
Okay, I have one more. The memories are flooding back for everyone as it is. So there's one more mysterious comment that I would like to read.
Ooh.
Chad Alt writes, overnight weekend with Jenny, ? And a bunch of other North Door seniors. I wasn't sure if I was coming back alive.
Jenny?
Jenny?
Maybe that was Chad's little kid experience when we were sophomores. We need more details, Chad.
Okay, yeah.
Well, do we?
Yeah, maybe not.
I don't know.
True, fair point. That's good.
Now he's coming.
Marnie, do you want to tell us who's coming up on the show?
Ooh, I love how this has devolved at this point. Okay. We have,
Evolved.
this is episode 46, by the way, Jason. 46.
Unbelievable.
Awesome.
Okay, next week we have the softball team. I heard everyone is getting ready.
Can't wait.
April 20th, Katie Keena, Jenny Thompson. April 27th, there's an open show in case anyone wants to volunteer. Just put your name in the comments. May 4th, Jim Keen and Brian Olson. May 11th, the football team with our special correspondent, Eric Haugen. May 18th, my 50th birthday party, bring your own cake. May 25th, Mike Hance, live from Guadalajara, Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
I have booked on
Wild
June
card.
15th, Linda Schneewind and Carrie Silvernagle
Oh, yay, I love them.
as we enter year 2. So we are going strong into year 2. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram. We are posting some photos, and I will post the link to the Google map where I list the towns, not the street addresses, of all of our guests.
I'm
Hey,
just amazed that you guys have kept this going for so long.
So
are you
are
kind of
we.
like, oh no, this is really taken off? Do you have any
It's
regrets?
fun. I was just
It
going to
is
say
fun.
I need to apologize because I have not kept up on the YouTube archiving. I got my vaccine on Saturday and I went day drinking instead of doing my video stuff. So I'll catch up now this week.
We are so happy that the 3 of you joined us, that everyone has joined us in the past. And, you know, it's really fascinating to hear about all of your lives now and whatever memories you can dredge up. And then for all of you who are like, I'm too boring, or I don't remember anything, you don't have to remember anything, and you can be totally boring. And so we're just grateful to all of you.
Well,
Yeah, it was
super
great to
fun.
see you guys.
Well,
Likewise.
Yeah, you too.
Likewise.
guys.
Super fun.
Any last words from anyone?
No, just thank you for doing this.
Get your shot.
Yeah.
Get
Take
your
a
shot.
I'm
Keep wearing
trying.
masks.
I
Yeah.
get my
keep
first
wearing
one
masks.
this Saturday.
Nice.
What's that?
I get my first one this Saturday, but I have to go to Rochester for it.
Oh,
Oh,
So
wow.
I only
Fine,
maybe
I
I'm
didn't do
maybe I'm beside or behind the 8 ball on this, but I just learned yesterday that it's like MSP vaccine or something is tweeting out where vaccinations are available, and you just click on the link and schedule, but they get sucked up in about 2 minutes. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
see it go.
I've been
How'd
on
you get scheduled?
vaccine spotter. I think I'm at a Walgreens possibly, but it's down in Rochester, literally.
But how did you get scheduled?
I actually was on Vaccine Spotter, and then that shows you, I think, Hy-Vee, Walmart, Walgreens, and then
oh, wow.
you can.
Is that on Twitter or what is that?
No, I'm not on any social
Well,
media.
I joined Twitter just to do this.
If you can't find me, it's because and there's no reason other than I'm not on anything.
You guys
No,
need to get Bonnie to hook you up.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
I know, Bonds.
Yeah.
Face,
Get
I'll
me
let
on
you know.
the list.
There you go. There's no list, but I'll get you in.
Just sneak up in the back door and she'll
That's right.
reach out.
Have your arm out. We'll stick you.
So good luck, you guys, getting your shots. I got the Johnson
Thank
and
you.
Johnson one, luckily. So that's
Oh, nice.
Oh,
very
yeah.
happy.
And see,
That's-
Jen, now
that's a
you have a
storm.
digital footprint. We will be on YouTube, your video.
You know what I'm most afraid of is that people for company meetings and stuff, they go search, to find embarrassing pictures of you. And my
Oh,
boss once said, he's like, you really aren't on social media. I'm like,
Good for you.
Thanks a lot,
Congratulations on that.
Thanks,
yeah,
Bonnie.
congrats
great
for
thing.
holding out this long.
Yes, good for you.
Okay, well, take care, everyone.
Take care.
You too.
You
Thank
See you
you,
next week,
guys.
Marnie.
Good to see you girls.
Thank
Let's
you.
get together.
See you next week,
Goodbye,
everyone.
Cheri.
Mask up.